Hi everyone, this is Willem.
And this is Tim.
And this is another episode of Hear Me Out Pitch. It is hot. I thought last time we recorded was hot, but no.
It's been in
105 today.
Yeah.
105.
It's been in the hundreds today, and it's hot.
It's hot. I swam today. I went to the gym, and I looked at the pool, and I said, no, I'm not doing legs today, and I swam. And compared to, laps. I didn't just, splash. I swam back and forth. Some guy was like, can I split lines with you? And I'm like, okay, just don't get my way. So, I couldn't do butterfly with him in there, and I was mad. But it's fine, because butterfly takes it out of you.
We just got back from camping yesterday. So
He's a lobster.
I am a lobster. I got nice and crispy. Crispy. Yeah, no, I spent a lot of my day outside in the sun. Cleaning my tent, tarp, and chairs.
Crispy.
Yeah, my arm got so sunburnt that it was swollen enough that I couldn't get my shirt off last night trying to go to bed, and I've got a nice tan line for my watch, so if you need to know the time, I can tell you that it's
white o'clock.
White o'clock.
That's what I do all the time. I'll take my watch off. It's white o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, I'm pretty excited for this week's sentence, and I think we've both had a lot of time to. Tim asked me to, I need a break after camping, but it was fun because I was throwing stuff at him and. I don't know if that.
I got home yesterday and I texted Willem back to respond because I forgot to tell him that I was going camping.
Oh my gosh, Tuesday, this man just ignored me. I was like, hey man, you want to record tonight? And just nothing. And I was like, oh, this never happens. And it said not read or anything. And I was like, I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've been camping. Sure, you just hate me.
Yeah, I might have forgotten to tell you that I was camping.
It's fine.
Anyway, I get home, I respond finally, and he's like, all right, ideas. And started texting me like, I just got back from camping. I'm too tired for this.
You're getting ideas now. It's like Arthur with the cake. Just eat the cake.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, I had a pretty decent idea. So Ethan, again... Big shout out to Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan! It's not like he lives near us.
It's not like he's my upstairs neighbor or anything directly. I can hear him getting up at 3 a.m. to go to work.
How dare he?
Not actually 3 a.m. It's.
Have you ever stayed up enough that you hear him?
Yeah, there have been nights where I just can't sleep, and then the next thing I know, he's clomping around upstairs, and I can hear him. And then the next thing I know after that, my wife's alarm's going off, and I'm like, I didn't sleep a wink. Is it really 6:30 a.m. already?
Technically.
But anyway.
Happy 7-Eleven Day. We have to go get Slurpees after this.
Oh, crap. That is one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to go get Slurpees. Okay, whatever. Anyway, it's hot enough that it would have made a big difference. Anyway, Ethan... A week ago, I was talking to him, and he was like, I've got another quote for you guys to give you a story idea. And so he gave us this, 3 simple words. It's not I love you, not those 3 words. But it's another 3 words that I immediately drew inspiration from, and I texted Willem, and I was like, this is an idea. And the quote, these 3 words, is free the light.
Oh, free the light.
Free the light.
So my question, I don't mean to interrupt, but why, I'm just curious, and maybe anyone else here, why is this one which is pretty broad, why do you think we're able to work with this and not the other ones that Ethan gave us?
This one gives us a prerogative for our story. It gives us a narrative skeleton to follow. At least, a rib that we can put into that skeleton to follow. It's, free the light. The light has been captured. Our protagonist has to go and free it somehow.
So I feel bad because I have been basing my entire story on the phrase "return the light." So
I mean, return the light works too.
It does work too.
I had a lot of time this week to think, and yesterday when I got home, I didn't want to do anything, so I didn't. I just sat on my phone and wrote some stories. While I was out camping, I was fishing for a good chunk of it with my family, and I decided that for the main book that I'm currently writing, I want to put in a fishing chapter where he does some self-searching while he's fishing, trying to get food. But I also, while I was thinking about that, I was thinking about this quote and kind of the story I wanted to go with it. And I'd been thinking a lot, the last few weeks, I've been thinking a lot about Avatar: The Legend of Korra. And it's a really good story. It's, I mean, not as good as Last Airbender. It's not the height of perfection, but it is when you look at it, a very good story. It's very well told.
I would like to say something about Korra. Those poor directors, the original creators, and I can't name their names right off the bat because I'm just terrible like that. They had to deal with Nickelodeon being so annoying, only giving them like one season at a time.
Yep. And
had to keep building on. It's just not fun. So Korra was not as fleshed out as it could have been.
It wasn't as fleshed out and thought ahead of time, because they only had one chapter or one season to work with at a time.
Yeah.
So taking that into consideration, I do think it's a good story for what they had to deal with, what they gave us. Having to work with that, it's very well done.
I'm excited for the next Avatar series.
I also am excited.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I'm hesitant. I'm a little bit worried, but at the same time, I'm not.
I'm hesitant with anything nowadays.
Yeah, no.
Anything that's still
anything that's a return to something that we're familiar with, and anything that's not. But yeah, I was thinking a lot about Korra the last few weeks. A lot of videos have been popping up on my YouTube, and I was thinking specifically about Rava and Vatu, the spirit, the light and dark spirits.
Okay.
And so I kind of, taking the spirit side of Free the Light, I was thinking, Chinese and Japanese, kind of that Asian culture, their mythology, where there's the light spirits and dark spirits and demons and everything. And I was like, you know what? A samurai story would be really cool with this. So I texted Will, and I was like, I have an idea. Ethan gave me the quote, "Free the light." I want to do a samurai story about it. So yesterday I spent a good 2 hours or so pooling, maybe not full 2 hours. There was a lot of breaks in between where I just napped and iced my arm.
Again, sunburn. Everyone stay hydrated. Wear your sunscreen. Aloe vera if you do get burned. And cool yourself off.
Keyword, sunscreen. I didn't use it.
Shame.
That's why I'm so burnt. I may have forgotten that it was a thing until I was burnt.
I hated, as a lifeguard, treating people for heat stroke. So, everyone please, as a former lifeguard, please be safe, stay hydrated. Mm-hmm. If you see someone thirsty, give them some water.
PSA.
Sorry, don't mean to.
No, you're good.
I love the summer. I love it, but this outside right now it's hot. So just everyone be careful.
Anyway,
all right.
Yeah,
our samurai
story. I spent a good two hours with breaks, taking care of my sunburn, writing this story, coming up with what I thought could be kind of cool. I did a tiny bit of research, as in I looked up a Wikipedia page about samurai and ancient and feudal Japan and stuff like that, and I just skimmed over a couple points. But I came up with what I thought was an interesting, fun story with a main character that I personally have never done a character quite like this. In any of the stories that I've written, anything that I've come up with. But yeah, I thought it would be fun.
Well, I think for me, and I think we're gonna do this guinea pig little thing, where I'm gonna tell you what I was thinking of, and let's ask each other questions about, because I did come up with an idea as well, and I think it sounds pretty different. So maybe we ask each other. I don't know. Do we want to go back and forth with the questions, or?
I'm almost thinking we just do a quick summary of each of our stories. Just a quick.
Okay, just tell me what you got so far in like.
I mean, I've got the entire thing.
I don't have much, so maybe I'll go first and tell you what I have, because Tim told me about samurai, and if I'm talking too long, I can't do the voices. The voices in my head. I have always wanted to see a story of a samurai go into the Wild West. I've always wanted to see that. I feel like cowboys and samurai have a very good bond. I feel like that's probably why the West loves samurai so much, just because we love these wandering. Some samurai are just wandering heroes, and we just love that kind of stuff. Zuko alone is the perfect blend of Asian and Western culture. It's the perfect cowboy. Or how many cowboy movies have been inspired by old Japanese movies? The Magnificent Seven. That was an old Japanese samurai movie about these 7 samurai who defend a town. Flip it on its head, 7 cowboys defend a town. Cowboys and samurais have just a very I love them. And I've always been like, what would it be like? And I've thought of the opposite too. What would happen if some cowboy ended up in Japan? But the samurai were kind of. There are actual time frames in this world's history where you could have a cowboy, a samurai, a pirate, and I forgot the other one. And they all could have met each other. Like a real pirate, a real samurai, a real cowboy, and I can't remember what the other one was. Like just another archetypal thing. And it's like, we should make a D&D campaign with this. And I was like, that's amazing. So anyway, sorry. But little things like that where history can interact. I love that sort of stuff. So cowboy meets Japan, or a samurai meets the Wild West. Like, would he still have his sword? Would he try to use a gun? What would it be like for him? Would he be a stranger? I just imagine him with a patchy beard, and he's wearing a cowboy hat, and he's just walking around, and he's just on a horse with no name sort of thing, and I just love it. But my idea was that this samurai, this hero, is from a clan that was the protectors of this wonderful light. Don't really know again, I am going to summarize just quickly little thing. The light has been stolen by this tainted man. I just call him the Tainted. He is shadowy, he is dark, he laughs, and he just doesn't care. He's taken it and he has wiped out this clan. And this man, and I don't really imagine this like Japan and the West. I imagine this, for any of you Mistborn and Sanderson lovers, this is often another magical world, just my own. Willem doesn't do fantasy, but we are doing fantasy today. And this man is traveling mountains and seas to find this man. And I just imagine him as a dark renegade cowboy type figure. He just has a gun. And
you texted me earlier today, and you're like, I want an evil wax.
Yep.
And that's a terrifying.
Evil wax, or to even scare you even more, an evil wit.
Oh no.
Because I plan on him having many items from all realms. And so he's following this tainted man. But the thing is our beloved hero has been tainted himself. He is what he calls one of his tainted. He is tainted, and he will not be able to embrace the light. He cannot enjoy the light, and he cannot call upon it. His clan is wiped out. He's been shamed. However you want to see it. And this tainted man, loves to rub in his face. And I just imagine many scenes of him wandering and trying to get him. He's getting so close, but the tainted man just leaves destruction, chaos, and just I want a few scenes of our hero on his knees, sword broken, after the tainted man himself had pulled out his sword and said, fine, you don't want me to use my weapon, I'll use something close to yours. And his clothes shift to something similar to his, and he just pulls out this beautiful black blade. That should work. And first swing shatters his sword, and he's on the ground, and he looks down on our hero, and he's like, the light is gone. It has abandoned you. It is mine and not yours. You will never have it back, and you will always be tainted. And I want him to, like your favorite Jedi, embrace the dark for a moment, and I want him to pull a shadowy blade, and he embraces it for a bit. And the end of the movie, or end of this story, is just him being able to have a blade of dark and light to prove that there is balance. And I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to the tainted man. I would want the story to continue on, but our hero is just after the tainted man, and he wants the light back. That's really it.
Okay. I kind of like that. That's cool.
Ow, my knee.
I've got my brain juices are moving.
I hope you liked it.
I think it's great. My story is a lot more.
That's fine. That was what I came up, but I am ready to.
My story is a lot more traditional samurai.
Okay.
Basically, the balance between light and dark in Japan is held between these two spirits, spirit of light and the spirit of darkness. And it is this balance is disrupted when the spirit of darkness captures the spirit of light and imprisons her. And there would be a prophecy that only a samurai from a broken home with a broken soul could free this spirit and restore balance. And so it would essentially follow this samurai who's a very, very skilled, and at the beginning of this story he'd be very arrogant.
Young, old?
Young.
Early young adult?
Mid-20s.
Okay. Or
so. He'd be known for his exceptional swordsmanship, and he would be in battle, during the initial capturing of the light. He would be present to watch her be captured and taken away by this spirit of darkness. And he would face demons, and he would be incredibly arrogant, and then while he's fighting, he would lose very quickly and easily, again and again and again. He would just continue to lose to these demons, to these dark spirits, and it would break him, and that would create, or that would start to fulfill this part of the prophecy. A very skilled samurai who comes from a broken home and broken spirit. His spirit is now broken. He is losing confidence in his own abilities now because he's lost so easily so many times. The darkness would retreat, and he would return home to find it gone, burned to the ground, everybody that he cares about dead, except the village elder. And this village elder would point to the village and show the withered crops, the dead people, the burning homes, and he would tell this samurai this prophecy where only a samurai of a broken home and a broken spirit could defeat the darkness and return balance to the world. He, despite his brokenness and his fading confidence, he would feel a sense of duty, and he would agree to go on this quest. And that would be like the first, I'm thinking it would probably be like the first 20-30 minutes of the movie. We want to very well establish these characters and show how arrogant this character is at the beginning.
I love making cocky.
I've never created a character quite like this before. I think it's interesting. And the samurai would begin his journey. He would face various physical challenges. I'm imagining he's climbing cliffs. He's wading through rivers, and he's fighting dark creatures, these demons, these shadow spirits. And he loses to some, and they taunt him and then leave. And others he does defeat. And I imagine one particular scene, he's fighting this demon, or this shadow spirit, blade against blade, and this shadow spirit gets the upper hand and knocks this man to the ground, the samurai to the ground, and is about to end him. And in comes a monk who just, with the power of chi or whatever.
I was so scared you were going to say, like, the power of Christ. I'm like, a monk would not use that.
The power of Christ compels you.
That's a very different religion.
He would come in and he would beat up this shadowy spirit. He would join forces with this samurai, and they would continue to travel together, and he would help teach this samurai that confidence is a strength so long as it's not overconfidence, for overconfidence is a detriment to all around you. Something like that. And they would continue to go through these trials, and it would be they would come upon maybe a village or two and help and save it. And the samurai would gain confidence, but also humility. And they would come to the entrance of this shadowy, the spirit of darkness's lair, which I'm imagining, if you've played The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, there's big pits in the ground, the chasms that go all the way down to the depths.
What is that place called again?
Huh?
The dark place?
The depths.
Okay.
It's essentially, if you've played any of the older games, it's essentially the Dark World.
Okay.
Just a dark mirror of the surface.
Not Twilight, though.
No.
Okay.
No.
I just want Midna back.
But yeah, so I'm imagining it's just a massive pit in the ground. Or in Star Wars Episode 8, there's the big black pit with the tendrils of just evil coming out of it that Luke tells Rey not to go near, not to mess around with.
I don't remember Episode 8. I'm sorry. I know it's 3 hours long. That's probably, and I don't. But I just.
Anyway, I'm imagining just a big pit in the ground with kind of shadow pouring out, and the land around it is which is dark and full of mist and black smoke and a bunch of these monsters. The monk and the samurai jump in, and they fall for a while before landing in water that breaks their fall. And they are now in this Spirit of Darkness's lair, an ancient shadow temple dedicated to the evils of the land. And you know, the samurai and the monk would have to go through this temple, and imagine, like, traditional, like, Japanese style buildings, like a Japanese temple kind of thing, or castle. That's kind of what I'm imagining, but underground, surrounded by shadow,
upside down,
by smoke. Ooh, maybe. I didn't think about that. Maybe it is upside down.
I love that kind of stuff.
Evil mirror to the light temple above, maybe. Yin and yang. Anyway, they would have to fight. I'm thinking the monk will probably sacrifice himself in the end to save the samurai. And I'm imagining that, while they're going through the temple trying to get to this final fight, the samurai is becoming more arrogant again. He's regaining his overconfidence. And when the monk is killed, he's kind of dropped back down to the guilt and humility, and he would overcome this arrogance, and in a moment of clarity he would find an inner strength that comes from the light itself. I'm imagining a visual where this spirit of light is standing in a cage surrounded by shadows, and she just reaches out her hand and light pours from her into the samurai as he lets go of his arrogance and pride and is able to accept humility and find this inner strength where he is able to defeat the dark spirit. And as he's about to kill the dark spirit, he realizes, no, if he kills the dark spirit, there will be an imbalance again. He just has to free the light spirit. And so that's what he does. He'll just go over with his sword, and I'm imagining, he just, with his sword, he just cuts open the cage, and the light spirit walks out, and she makes a deal with the darkness, and she leaves with the samurai, and brings back to life the monk on their way out, and then we have our happy ending kind of thing. That's kind of what I was thinking. It's a very traditional samurai story. All right, I feel like.
Okay, I like how we both had it. Okay, so now I want to propose we combined with these two stories, and because my brain has been firing trying to find correlations between both of ours. Because what if clan? I still think it could very much work with. I'm imagining now. Combining both of our stories, I'm imagining that our hero, arrogant, of a clan that protects the light, and the light is a beautiful, like, Zelda-type princess of light, and she will get kidnapped by this dark man, this spirit of darkness. And
it could totally be a cowboy who takes the light back to the west.
Again, I don't know. It doesn't have to be. I would propose, again, just for funsies, it's kind of a made up thing of ours.
Well, back to his land.
Yeah.
You take it back to his land where it could feed the land.
Something like that. I don't know what his deal would be. Does he want the light for himself? Does he want to try to have them to be together? Does he want it to be? Is it like Hades and not Aphrodite? Persephone sort of thing? Like, does she have to go away? Is it like a very like wavery like it's kind of they already have a deal, but he's kind of breaking it? Like
kind of
what
kind of Book of Life-ish.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. Wow.
I just watched Book of Life with
Did
my
you
wife
like
a
it?
few weeks ago. I love it. It's a good movie. I've seen it several times, and it is a very good movie.
And it's cute because it's kind of sad though, because you watch that and then you watch Coco and you just love Coco so much more, and then you go right back. If you were to watch Book of Life, Coco, and then go right back to Book of Life, you're like, oh, they're still good, but Coco took a similar story and just not similar, but the feel. I don't know. I love them both. I watched it.
It's a similar mythology that they're delving into.
Yeah, and I loved it.
I think they're both good stories.
So I think the question would be what. So how do you like the idea of it being this clan of light and they protect this figure? Because again, you kept saying free light, and I'm just imagining like Kida. You know how Kida looks when she absorbs the crystal in Atlantis? That's kind of what I imagine she is.
You're gonna hate me. I've never seen Atlantis.
Okay, that's it, everyone. Good night, and there'll be no more episodes from now on. How in the Hello Kitty have you never? And we've been doing this podcast for a year. Have you seen Treasure Planet?
Yes, I've seen Treasure Planet.
But you haven't seen the other?
No, I haven't.
The other like not loved Disney movie, which is actually really loved.
No,
I am shook. Movie night during D&D this week. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh.
I'm sorry.
Wow. My sister is at our family home going, someone hasn't seen Atlantis and they must die. Like she's just loves that movie. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's just the Princess Kida at one point absorbs this very powerful source of power and light and basically becomes a living crystal of light that gives Atlantis the ability to live. And that's kind of what I'm imagining for our goddess type thing. She is the source of light, source of power. They protect her. She is the goodness of this. Maybe we could just say it's a world. This world looks like a big yin and yang. Well, it doesn't look like a yin and yang symbol yet. I'm imagining half light, half darkness. That's what this world looks like.
And as darkness creeps into the light's domain, light creeps into darkness.
And by the end of the movie, the planet will look like a big yin and yang symbol sort of thing.
The temples for each could be the dots in the opposite.
That's
sides.
the deal they can make at the end of the movie.
Yes.
To bring balance. Because right now, right now they're like, it's perfectly balanced, but why does everything feel off? Why does the light feel so good? Like it's, I kind of like that. I actually really like that a lot.
Really like that.
That's
idea.
the deal they make at the end, and the planet is balanced, but it has a source of
maybe the samurai is the one who suggests it.
And I have an idea for it. So I kind of want to still have this figurehead. He's felt like something's missing, and the thing is, we can be inspired from the actual yin and yang story because they're brother and sister. Mm-hmm. So maybe he's like, I'm sick of, why am I not, I can never be happy. Because she's not, since she has all the good and he has all the sorrow, because you can't really feel happiness without
pain.
And I don't want to go.
Without knowing pain, you will never know true happiness.
I don't want us to go too like
It is a great quote from Uncle Iroh to Avatar Aang.
It's a lot like this tunnel.
In the tunnels of Ba Sing Se.
That image you're thinking of, just hold on to that. The light at the you'll see what, because I love that you added like a monk. I really want him, but there's one scene in particular. So everything that we've said, I feel like if we combined it, we can make another great story. But I think at the end of the movie, the world being completely yin and yang-ish, you can have good in the darkness. I feel like that would be a good statement because everyone needs to be reminded of that. I know bad things happen to good people, everyone. I don't know why, but I truly believe it's just like Newton's third law. For every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. That's just how the universe works. I don't need to add religion to this. I just believe that that's how everything works physically. If you push something, it's going to push back. And just karma, butterfly effect, however you want to see it. I just believe that's how things are. So we truly won't experience good without having some bad. So how can you truly know if something tastes good if you don't fail a bunch of times and make just terrible food? You know how I got good at making that ramen, Tim?
I found the quote.
Oh, please.
Sometimes life is like a dark tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you keep moving, you will come to a better place.
Okay. I love that.
That is the Uncle Iroh quote.
Oh, and I think I have a name for your main character, our main character, Samurai. It's a Japanese word meaning light, and it is a name. I asked the internet Japanese names for light. Hikaru. That's just one that I thought of. I don't know if there's any more, but for now, in my head, I'll just be calling him Hikaru. I think him being arrogant is awesome. He could be one of the new ones inducted into this clan.
Maybe not even new. Maybe he's
just one of the best.
He is the best. Not one of the best. I want him to be the best, and that's why he's so arrogant.
He is the Link of this group.
Yes.
He is if Link just was like, I have the princess, we're married, we're a happy couple, haha.
He is the best. He is the best of the best. Nobody even holds a candle to him. He's Prince Adolin. The more that I think about it, it fits really well.
All right, I like that. Our Adolin, well, he's going to be Kaladin in a few minutes, so.
Yes. Well.
Do you want him to lose to a duel then? Because I imagine
I think a duel amongst the spirits. With the demons, with the spirits. So when the light is taken, he goes after her, and he is challenged by a demon of some kind that wielding a sword, and his sense of his noble sense of duty as a samurai would compel him to face this demon in a duel, in a one-on-one, and it'd be a very intense fight. It would look like he's about to win, and then the demon flips the battle on its head, and he loses. And the demon just scoffs at him, walks away, saying,
is this demon the main bad guy?
I'd say,
or just one of his big toadies,
like the second in command kind of deal.
So maybe he
maybe he's the one that kills the monk.
Yeah, Hikaru will just be like, I challenge, the main. I don't even know what we'd call this main. I'm just gonna call him the Tainted Man, the Shadow Man. I'll call him the Tainted. That could still be a thing, that if you become tainted, you have to live on the other side. See, that's the thing that they don't forgive. Is they never forgive anyone for having any darkness in them. I think he comes in demanding, I don't think he's going to make his big speech about the darkness being so uneven, because they're not allowing anyone to have light in them, anyone who has become tainted. He has too many people he's watching over. It's like Hades in the underworld. He's just so like, I have all this pain. Why must I carry all this and you get to have all the joy? Why does the light get to be so perfect, but yet all of us, and we can even see that, like, the world is, and it's not even, like, his doing. It is naturally going. So maybe he's like, I am going to extinguish everything then. Because, like, what's the point then? Because if I get you out of the way, we all get to be miserable together, and then it is done.
Maybe he is the spirit of darkness. Maybe they're siblings. I kind of like that. And she's just a benevolent force, and he's a malevolent force. And they maybe they can't be killed.
Then maybe he'll just capture her and get rid of it completely.
Maybe they can't be killed, and that's why he's capturing her.
I just imagine
because otherwise if he was just going to extinguish it, he would go in and he would just kill her.
Yeah, and that's or maybe he's gonna try. He's like, I will figure out a way, because he's like, look, and he just starts touching, like, or not even the guns. I think the guns would be handy here. Shoots people, doesn't kill them. It goes through, and we just see this tainted, like
a tear,
like a tear almost, like some, like we see an outline, like as it shoots, the whole
like
screen
a
goes
tear
black.
in your soul.
Yeah, the screen goes
Yeah.
black. They're highlighted in white, and we see like a line of shadow go through and spread. Tainted, and he like shoots. Tainted, tainted, tainted. Now, where must they go, dear sister? And she looks all like sad because they can't stay in the kingdom of light. They have to leave. You know, they are the purest. So that's why I think it's funny that our hero is so arrogant, but yet somehow he's still a part of this. He's still in this. You know what I mean? Like, he is the two-faced people that we see. He's kind of two-faced. He is holier than thou, but he's barely making it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, it's hypocritical that Hikaru is in this land. Like, it's ironic that he is in the spirit of light and purity, even though inside he's arrogant, mean. You know, he thinks he's better than everyone else. And he's giving the wrong message.
I like that.
I think that would be hilarious, because even the tainted man could just be looking at him like, and noble Hikaru, you don't belong. I do not need to even use my power, because your soul is already tainted. You know, and Hikaru is just so like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Just imagine just how shocked he is when he's just been told, like, you're fake. You are fake, and I'm going to expose you. Like, I think that'd be so funny. Just to, because I don't know how this could work. Do we want people to get kicked out? Is that a dumb thing to say? No. I really like it. I like that, because even though Hikaru is technically pure in soul and hasn't been touched by darkness, like a dark spot, people there are two-faced. You know, it'll be funny. It's going to be cute, though, because I imagine he will travel to cities in the shadow side, which is, again, growing, and they're going to be people laughing and having fun. I don't want them to be miserable. I want some people to actually be...
No, I agree. I don't want everybody to be...
And that's when the monk will come in handy. Like, I want when he meets the monk, like, the monk is, like, almost shining, but it's like this gray fuzz. Like, he's a gray. He's a gray Jedi almost. Like, he's just this perfect, like he's just in the middle, and he's just found peace. That'd be cute. Because nothing really is black and white. I don't want anyone to think that we're saying that life is black and white and perfect. No, and I think that's why I think the story... I'm really liking this. And we haven't even done the beginning. So, not kill... kidnap, take it, get rid of it.
Yes.
Or maybe he is so set, like, he will kill her, kind of like with... I think, now that you've brought up Vatu and Rava, I'm like, oh my gosh, because he did try to kill Rava and get rid of her, but in the end, they pulled her out of Vatu in the end. Did I say that right? They pulled Rava out of Vatu in the end. Because you can't have... You can't have
one without the other.
You just can't. That's just how it is. It seems like that sometimes, and we're going to get to things like that.
Maybe the dark spirit does kill her in the end, and then
I imagine maybe he doesn't shoot anyone. He literally touches people and stains them while he walks by and says, "You're mine, you're mine," and we just see the shadow enveloping him. Like, I imagine but then he will shoot a bullet right through her. Just right through her. After, Hikaru, all the people try to do that, he's just going to full on just pulls out the thing, pulls out a gun. They're like, what is that? Beep. And just beautiful, like, again, that black and white imagery. That's what I want. The whole screen's black, her outline is white, and just the bullet, just anime style. Can you imagine it in your head?
Yeah.
You know what I'm picturing? Mm-hmm. And we just see Hikaru look, and when he turns around, the tainted man is just digging a finger in him. Just right in his chest. Just exposing him for what he is. That arrogance that he really is showing. I really like that you brought that he's arrogant. So I feel like the arrogance is what's tainted him, but now the tainted man is just showing everyone what he really is like. And I think the monk will be fun because he will help him learn to. I really like
learn
your
to live
monk.
with the balance.
I do
maybe,
like it.
maybe he's not tainting them himself. He's exposing an inner impurity in each person already, and just making that be the forefront of their person instead of the light.
Okay.
Because nobody's perfect.
Oh, you're right.
Nobody's perfect. So maybe he comes in and he's like, and he's like, I realized something. And the samurai all get in front of her, and he just appears, and they all get in front of her, and he's like, all of these people should be mine, because nobody's perfect. Not one of these is perfect. And he points to a couple people and says, they are a glutton, they eat too much, and they know it, and they hide it. They are not faithful.
Yeah, they're not faithful. That one. And just looks at one man. Mm-hmm. I want him... just pulls out a gun and shoots. And I'm just because, like, this one, and just shoots one in the head. We won't even talk about. Like, just something like that's what...
He knows what he
did. And he just stares at everyone. Like, no one knows, and the audience won't know, but it was something like... It's like even I shiver at it. Like something like, probably murder, or I'm just going to say murder. Say murder, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll say murder, but you guys can, but that's the point we're trying to make, that people are, maybe though, there is visible like lines of, and people hide it. They wear those beautiful white robes and they hide it, and people get more bundled up. And he like he rolls up people's sleeves. Like I want them to be like visible lines.
Makeup.
Yeah.
He's wiping away makeup.
You are a tainted. But I want Hikaru to be so... He truly does believe it. But he's just blind to it. I hope that makes sense. Like, he's gonna, like, wipe his hand in front of Hikaru's face, and Hikaru will see that he truly is tainted. He's not perfect. He is Adonis, not Adonis. Yeah, Adonis.
Adolin.
I was thinking the Greek mythology, Adonis, the one that Narcissus. Narcissus stares in the mirror and he loves himself
more than everybody else.
Narcissus or Adonis, like just perfection. They think they are perfection, but they're not.
I like the idea of Adolin, where he's proud of his heritage, proud of himself and his own accomplishments. He's very cocky, very overconfident based on his accomplishments, but he thinks he's doing the right thing.
I do think there should be some people, though, who are pure,
as good as they can get.
They are like as close as they can. They've done everything, or they've been perfected. You could say, like they did mighty deeds and they made it. They were accepted. Maybe like elders.
Maybe you see a few of them missing a limb because
if the hand doth,
because the dark the evil was showing on that limb, and so they cut it off.
If the hand offend the body, cut it off.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some.
I mean, it feels like something samurai would do.
Yeah.
I mean, they would often, if their lord died, they would honor his death by ending their own lives.
I think this would be a good scene, like just devastating, just showing everyone, like, and we see that the shadows creeping and creeping and creeping more, like people are not believing in themselves. The light is shrinking.
I can totally see the map.
Yeah.
There at the top of the map.
Yeah.
Where the shadow's creeping, and all we see is that top half of the map.
Yeah.
And later, when it's revealed, we show that both sides are twisting into each other to create the yin yang. But we don't see that. All we see is the black overtaking the light.
Is this too much to think that? So would people really get kicked out, or are people just tainted and they still live in the light? You know, like, I feel like, is that like too much? Are we making it too black and white?
Maybe that's part of the samurai's job. Is they take the tainted and get rid of them.
Okay, I had a thought of the beginning to kind of set the tone. I imagine we just see this circle kind of get drawn. Just a circle's drawn, and then a line down the middle. You know, there was a world of shadow, and there was a world of light. There was a shadow of world and light. On one side...
You mean a world of shadow
What did I
light.
say?
You said a shadow of world and light.
Yes, a shadow of world and light. Shut up, you know what I meant. There's a world of shadow and light. One side was for those who were... The one side was of light, pure, beautiful, and the humans who inhabited that land were those of the best and were kind. And, you know, they're describing this movie like amazing, beautiful people. The other was those dejected, angry, cruel, blah, blah, all this stuff. And then we see that the leaders of these two lands were brother and sister, of light and dark. And I want the beginning of the movie to make it seem like darkness had been taking over slowly. And finally, we begin our story as the armies of shadow finally take hold and attack the Temple of Light. And it comes in and we see like this army of shadow, this army, quote unquote, there's just, and it looks like it, just this army coming up to the palace, and we see her heroes, we see all these things, and we could tell the story. I like how you said that, and I would want to mention that her warriors there was little intolerance. There was no tolerance for those who were tainted, and once you were tainted, no matter how good you were, you had to be removed, blah, 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 blah. I feel like that's kind of the point. I like how you said that her warriors were the, like, ones responsible for moving that. So then I imagine that the movie, like, the story comes with him, with the tainted man coming in, doing everything that you've said, exposed, like they're surrounding her, and he's just laughing, and he exposes everybody, and Hikaru comes up, and we'll have a little thing mentioning like her best warrior, Hikaru, and how he was the most noble. He was the one that cleared out and vanquished so much darkness, led many back, like escorted many to the side of dark, and if they resisted, well, he did what he had to do, you know, showing that he is, like, painting him a picture. And then the Shadow Man comes in, exposes all of them, calls out Hikaru, shows his true taintedness, and then, to top it all off, puts a bullet through his sister's head and just ends it. And the world starts shaking, the shadow, and we just see the whole world engulfed in shadow. And, you know, he says, now we're all equal. There's nothing we can do. No light, no more misery, everything. Like, he thinks that they've won. Or I don't know, because we wanted to do Return the Light. I mean...
Free the light.
Free the light. So maybe it is just capture. So maybe he does try
capture.
to...
I think
he shoots her near the end.
Yeah.
Or maybe even halfway. But I think just the capturing and exposing, and we just see the shadow, though, still fill. And we just see, as she walks, though, it's really cute because her light will reach people who are tainted, and for a brief moment we see them like... And then when she gets out of view, they get miserable again. You know. Mm-hmm. But there, she's just taken away, and Hikaru is just devastated. Just devastated. Maybe he had a duel, or he fought one of his generals. I just think that in the end, sister is taken away, world is kind of engulfed, and there's just this little tiny speck of light, and, or at least we just see that it's slowly starting to affect it some more. But the point I want to make is that he's going to make a speech to him saying, you made it seem, you all thought that I was just engulfing the land of light. No, you all did that by pushing out everyone. It's their fault. You know what I mean? Because they wouldn't allow anybody, like who was imperfect, quote unquote, they were making the land get bigger. That was the point. But I want that to be like the big speech he gives him when he's kind of defeated and neglected at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See what I'm picturing? I know you're dead. I'm sorry, Tim. Poor Tim is dying.
Oh, I'm just tired.
I'm sorry. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Captured. And it's up to Hikaru to return the light in his arrogance.
As the tainted man is taking her away, Hikaru can challenge him and say, if I defeat you, she stays and you leave. And he looks at, the tainted man looks at him and is like,
No.
You can have your duel, but not with those conditions. And he just walks away, and the demon will walk forward and say, you will have your duel.
I want total, nope, I don't want Shadow Link moment. I want him to do that. I still want him dressed up, kind of like what you said. I still want him to be totally looking like cowboy hat for some reason, guns at his side, and just a long gun on his back. Like, that's just how I imagine him. Just this, like, gray skin dude. Like Arthur Morgan, but with gray skin. Like a Dark Link version of Arthur Morgan. Eyes red, just staring at him. So when we cross over to the Shadowland, it will be the Wild West sort of world. That's what I'm totally imagining.
Yeah, I like it.
But he's just staring at him. No, you can fight one of mine. And so if his minions are more Wild West inspired, is he just gonna is this guy gonna come out with just like a giant knife, or just like, what would he come out with?
I'm imagining he comes out.
What would a cowboy fight with?
I'm imagining he comes out with dueling pistols, and he's like, this would be unfair, and tosses them to the side, and they kind of like, as they hit the dirt, they just kind of poof into shadow.
Okay.
Like when you throw something into the dirt, it throws a little dust pool.
Yeah.
I'm imagining it turns into that, just smoke.
Like a smoke puff, just on the, because again, they're walking on, I imagine they're like walking on sacred ground in a way. Mm-hmm. So
I'm imagining it's like worked stone.
Yeah. They're like
up in the mountaintops.
Yeah. And it's just, but it's shiny, so they're just like, they feel weird because I want them to feel like you can see that these, I don't know if I want it to be a demon. Maybe it is like another human. It's a tainted, someone who,
just something. I am imagining, like, okay, when you think demon, right, a lot of the times you're going to think of some monstrous animal-like humanoid that is just like massive and exudes evil, but that's not the only kind of demon that exists. There's others. A demon doesn't have to be a monster. It can be a humanoid-like creature. You know
what I'm imagining? I'm imagining, what are the giant blue monsters in Mistborn called?
The Kolos?
Kolos blood. They're slightly gray. Like this dude's slightly gray, just a big burly dude. And I just imagine he just, fine, you're right. And he just pulls out a simple knife and he wraps his other hand with a bandana and goes, all right.
No, what I'm imagining is he just holds out his hands and shadows just like coalesce from off his body into a samurai sword in his hand.
Just a cowboy dude holding a samurai sword. Is that better? Maybe not a
katana, but like a,
just a big like machete.
No, what is it called?
What if it's just Chinese, one of those saw
It's the Chinese one that's just long and it's a straight blade. Because that's kind of what I'm imagining.
What if he just goes up and just takes one of the... What if he just says, may I borrow that?
Or he just takes it.
Yeah, he takes it and you can see it like What if it like burns him though? And he goes, nah. And he wraps. What if he wraps like he takes a cloth and wraps it around, and he's just holding it. And he goes, "This feels wrong. Does this feel wrong to you?" It's just wrapped. He's wrapped his hand up, and he's just holding it, and he's swinging it so wrong. He goes, "Okay, are you ready?" So he would lose that battle.
He would lose it, and the monster would, as he's about to finish off Hikaru, I'm imagining like, you're too pitiful to kill.
You know what?
Kind of throws the sword aside.
You know how I imagine the fight would go, though. Hikaru's sitting there. He's hitting. He's overwhelming the guy, and he takes a step back and he's monologuing. He's being all like, "Do you have no idea? Do you have any idea who I am?" And all of a sudden, we just see knife get thrown. Like sword just gets thrown at him. Hikaru blocks it, and a fist comes, and a hand comes, and he grabs Hikaru by the neck, picks him up, and just slams him down. And then he whispers in his ear, you gotta quit that monologuing. And he just bangs him again. And then the sister will, before he and I'm not imagining like back of the head banging on the ground. He's banging Hikaru's face. Just bam. And we see the sisters watching, and every bang is like closing in on her, like bang, bang, and she just screams like, just stop. And finally, like, the tainted man just laughs, says, all right, let him go. And he walks up to Hikaru, and this is probably where he'd show, I think this is where he'd expose him, right here.
Yeah.
Oh, the blood that's leaking all over Hikaru just starts tainting him. That's how Hikaru looks, is the blood from his face and nose. That's what he touches, the blood, and it just starts tainting him from the front.
I like it.
So it looks like he has a beard of just blood all the time. And he and he covers it with like a bandana. That'd be so cool. Oh, ew, and it always looks like he's dripping blood. Ew. I like it. Ew, that's gross. So, sister's taken. Hikaru has been shamed and bloodied, legitly bloodied. Mm-hmm. And what would the other monks do? Would they all just be? Would they show that they're tainted? Would they be too embarrassed? Would they try to fight? Would all the other people? I still want there to be like a war of swords. So would they just get killed?
I'm imagining there's a fight. Like some of the other soldiers are fighting, and die. I think the soldiers would die.
I think Hikaru being the last one. I kind of want to steal like the last of the clan. Is that too much? Or I don't think it is, because I feel like that would be not the funniest. Villain's point of view, that would be funny. Leaving the most arrogant one. And I imagine when he wakes up, he's all like tied up, and he just sees all the bodies. Oh, maybe not tied up. He just wakes up and he just finds all of them. Ooh.
Yeah. I think that would work best.
So now he's set to travel. So I'm imagining now that she's gone, it's not like completely dark on their side. It's
empty.
It feels empty and abandoned, and it's turning gray, and maybe it's phasing into the west.
Maybe we're seeing, maybe it's still, pristine white. And light, but there's shadows. Now there's shadows under the buildings and stuff. Creeping out.
Here's an architectural, and this. If Brandon can write scenes like this, I think we can. Perfectly pristine, except all the blood looks black, and it's tainting everything, and it's everywhere, Tim. Everywhere, all over the palace. Like, the thing that's tainting all of the beautiful palace right now is just blood. And it's black and dark, and it looks like a Rorschach. He gets up, and he's like, oh, I'm liking Hikaru. now I kind of want to go back to your side of it more, because we've kind of combined for the beginning. So how would we combine more for the? I feel like we both had a very similar thing in the middle, wandering. So where and when would he find one of these villages? Like, would he just cross? And again, I imagine they're all cowboys now, like cowboy-esque, West type now, because I kind of like that.
Yeah.
He just crosses, and all of a sudden everyone's wearing all this pristine, like, they're just wearing these cowboy clothes. Like, howdy. He's like, what? Yeah, just exactly how you imagined it. And so what would the middle ground look like? Would it just be a desert? This gray desert? Or, like, is an exact line?
I don't know. I'm kind of imagining
Just
that
a wall?
Build a wall. No, I'm imagining almost... I've been imagining, like, mountain ranges and forests and some rolling plains. Yeah.
Except everything's black and white.
Yep.
I would love to see this. I would totally... If this was... I am imagining an animated anime almost, and it's completely black and white.
That would fit.
Except the only color would be like a few different things of their clothes. That's about it. And the monk would just be, I don't know.
He'd be pale.
He'd be pale.
It would be like the inside of Elantris.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's a very good way to help it. How would you want him to meet the monk? Would this monk be in one of these villages and meets him? Would he meet him before he goes to the village? Like, is he about to cross? So I'm
thinking it's before the village.
Okay.
He's walking through...
Maybe he's the one that finds him.
Maybe.
Maybe maybe Hikaru's like running, chasing, hobbling, and wanders and wanders. We have a montage of him traveling and then passes out. And that's how he meets your monk friend.
I do want there to be a scuffle before, like where the monk shows up.
Maybe he's passing out and he sees a bunch of these shadow demons coming for him. And
or maybe
someone
he's
saves
fighting
him.
some of the shadow demons and he beats a couple. And he gets super overconfident and rushes them. And then...
his like, stab wound or his... wounds from previous injuries give out. Because again, he's like, I forgot who I am. I'm Hikaru. Ha ha. I'm amazing, even when I'm tired. I do that.
Yeah. I'm imagining something like that, and then as he's about to be killed, the monk shows up and beats up these... He beats up the bad guys.
He beats up the bad guys?
Yeah. And then...
What was that voice?
I don't know. It was...
I love it.
I don't know. But yeah, so the monk beats up the bad guys, and then
we got to have the scene
Hikaru
of him.
passes out.
Yeah, waking up at a fire.
As he's, like he looks, he watches as the monk is fighting, and I don't really want the monk to finish the fight while Hikaru's conscious.
Yeah.
I want Hikaru to pass out while the monk is fighting, and then he'll wake up and what happened to the shadow demons.
Yeah, he gets jumped, he beats a few, but they get the better of him, and we have that typical scene of the hero is on the ground, fetal position, getting kicked in, punched, and finally
I was thinking big burly shadow demon thing comes and punches him right in the chest. Throws him back. I'm imagining like this is in a canyon or like in a mountain pass.
So what are these? So these are
against the wall.
So there are humans and there are demons and then there's seraphim or angels, whatever we want to. Then there's good.
I think like the divinity of the world.
So what happened to the divinity? Did they disappear when he captured her? Do they just poof because her power is non-existent, or do they kind of Legend of Korra style, and they get corrupted by the light? By the darkness.
I think the divinity, there's...
Or maybe they're just
I'm thinking it's the divinity, so light and dark.
Yeah.
The two gods, light and dark, the spirits. And then there's the shadow demons and humanity. And that's it. That's kind of what I'm imagining. And
Okay.
then humanity, because they're not perfect, have to be taken to the Shadowlands, and they...
Which is ironic because the demons technically could be perfect. Because they could be spirits of light. You know what I mean? Like, they can be unflawed. They can technically become... They could be something perfect because they don't have human traits. They could be programmed to be perfect. Because they don't have human choice. They don't have human free will. That's my take on demons and spirits. I just think that you don't have humanity, you don't get freedom to choose. That's my opinion. Or maybe there are just bad people. Maybe these demons are just bad people, and this is the point that...
Maybe they've embraced their corruption so much that it empowers them.
They are some of the people that actually had to be kicked out. They know what...
Yes.
They know who Hikaru is. They know what he did. And they live in this darkness, quote unquote, and they're miserable. And they know what he is. And they're going to jump him. You know, they're going to kill him. They're like, you brought us into this place. And, you know, Hikaru being what he was, like, you didn't deserve to be here. You didn't deserve to be in the light. You're nothing. You're basically demons. You've embraced the darkness. And, you know, maybe even one person could kind of hint, you know, he's like, I just lied for, or something, like just a simple little thing, like Jean Valjean style, like I stole some bread and now I'm here. I deserve this. I deserve to be with this lot. And they kind of look at the little guy, sorry, you know, but then there's one guy who full on deserves to be out there, you know, and one guy fully accepts it, the big burly guy. He's like, I know I belong out here and I'm about to show you why, you know, just that very very ooh. So my question would be, though, to kind of backtrack just a tiny bit, how would they be allowed to attack the Temple of Light? Is it because, like, maybe even...
I think while the spirit of the tainted man, I'm just going to call him the tainted man, as he walks forward, the darkness spreads toward the temple.
He makes lines of darkness for them to walk on.
Yeah, I like that. I think that works.
It's kind of like, it's like Zin, not Zin, Zin, what's his name? The assassin in white. He can't touch the ground.
Zeth?
Wow. Again, guys, I'm not good with names. I'm really not. I know the characters very well. I just have a hard time with their names. And curse you, Brandon Sanderson, for having so many characters with so many names. So backing track to these guys, they know what he is. He is one of her light bringers. I don't know what to call them. Just light guardians, whatever. Beat the crap out of him. Almost kill him. The big guy goes to finish, and he's blacking out, and Bowstaff comes and whaps him across the face. And we see fuzzy images of him fighting the rest of them. And wakes up, and where is he woken up?
I think he'd probably just wake up right in that same mountain pass, but there's a fire going.
There's always got to be a fire.
There's got to be a fire, and there's got to be the guy tending to it with a poke.
You're awake. Whoa.
Oh, finally, you're awake.
Finally, you're awake. You got a name idea for this guy? What's a name for Gray?
I did have a name. I don't know why.
What's a Japanese name for like what's another word for balance or even?
It's just balance.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna.
I don't know. Google Translate.
Whatever. We'll think of a name later. But you know what I mean. So this monk picks him up by his bootstraps, and so. Is this when they kind of wander on into the... I feel like this is like the edge, like he's finally... Like he first set foot... Not really set foot, I don't even know.
Almost like, you know how in Labyrinth, when they enter the swamp?
Yeah.
I'm imagining it's kind of like that, where he gets into the swamp, he goes into the darkness, and he's in there for a little bit, but not really that long before it happens.
So would you say that, again, at this point, would we want the world to be half... maybe it's not even a world. It could be like a continent. I don't care how you guys imagine it. It's just there's two places, one of light, one of darkness, however you guys want to see it. When he gets to the border, Great Desert, whatever, like plane of existence, plane, and point is, do we want just the light side to feel super empty while he travels? Like it shows him for days traveling and it just feels so empty and wrong. And again, I want them to feel like they're blaming the tainted man, but at the midpoint, like right before his second fall, I want the tainted man to prove that you all did this to yourselves. You sent everyone out because they weren't perfect. What did they do wrong? No one's perfect. You're not perfect. You are not perfect, Hikaru.
Here's what I want to do, because I want to get going so I can go to bed. But I think we have the midpoint and the middle be Hikaru and the monk come up on the on a village that is being ransacked by these quote unquote demons, which I think being just bad people.
Maybe before it gets ransacked, though, he sees that some people are still happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just.
No, I agree, and I
think way
they
too
can,
much.
I think they can stay there for maybe a day.
Maybe he wakes up there.
Maybe.
That's where he will. Maybe I think that'd be a good idea. He wakes up in the village.
Yeah, I like that.
And
I like that.
He's kind of getting the sense of. This is showing the real world that we kind of live in. You know, ooh, I almost said it again. Try not to say it. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. He wakes up and he's in the real world. He's in what we all experience. There is good and bad. It happens. He's in this village and he's just shocked because people are happy. People are still kind of living their life. And then the darkness comes. But there is something different. It's not very like a lot of happiness. It's very sparse, but yet he's still shocked that people are still laughing and smiling to some degree.
It's not dark, but it's not light.
It feels like a village under, just like any of these cowboy samurai movies, it feels like it's under some brutish gangster mafia control. It feels like you can laugh, but it feels constrained. It feels like you're a prisoner. So I feel like that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
So would they want to leave the village, or would the tainted man come to the village?
I don't think it's the tainted man that comes. I think it's just a band of marauders.
It could be
Could be that general dude.
It could be him again.
Yeah, actually, I like that. And he comes, and I think, yeah, they'll fight. They'll have a fight.
That's where his sword breaks.
His sword will break while he's fighting the general. But he'll defeat the general, not kill, but defeat, by taking the broken hilt and stabbing it into the general. And, the general calls for retreat, whatever, they leave. But now Hikaru has no sword. And maybe he makes do with a wooden staff. Maybe the monk gives him a wooden staff and says, maybe not every weapon needs to be a blade. I want to have the Luke moment and go, I'll figure out something else. Like just
flings it. Because again,
maybe he hands it and instead of flinging it back, Hikaru's like,
because he's learning, but still he's
Hikaru's
still
like, no, I don't use this stuff.
So when would he? So I kind of like where this is going. Because we probably have a few beautiful moments with the villagers. He has a good learning moment of arrogance, of, trying to be softer. The monk's trying to teach him, like, be softer, be kinder. Why are you like this? Who hurt you? Has the moment, defeats the general. Do they try to go after? Because I feel like at this point, it's been a good hour 10. We have a pretty good intense moment. We had an awesome fight. the villagers helped. They kicked him out. They're all kind of celebrating. But then maybe when they're celebrating, this Lord Ruler moment comes and all of the happiness just big wave.
You see it get darker. Go from gray to black.
And just everyone immediately just, oh, that's right. Where do we live? Maybe he's sending out pulses. Just pulses keep coming in waves. Instead of earthquakes, just these pulses of like defeat, neglect, everything. Like just, it's getting worse and worse and worse.
More frequent.
And I feel like it'd be funny because so the severity of it's getting pretty bad. So would this be the point where they try to like venture to the place where he's at? Does he meet the tainted man along the way? I
think he goes. I think this is when they leave, and while they're walking, they'll talk, and the monk will teach him. You are confident, but you're also overconfident. You're confident too much, and this brings arrogance, and arrogance will be your downfall. And and then they'll get. I kind of want them to. I say that a lot.
We'll start working on our stuff we repeat. I know. I just want to be more fluid and sound more professional.
Yeah.
Also, it takes less time to edit if we do that way.
Yeah. I would like for them to, while they're traveling, this is the reason they're traveling. They're going to the Temple of Darkness to
free the light. They want to get her back.
And to defeat the darkness so that the villagers can be happy again. And I think that could be that travel time could be some good time for them to learn, to teach and learn.
I want the monk. The interesting about this monk is he is pure. He just chose to go into it himself. He thought that if he ventured into the land of darkness, he could bring, and that's what he's been doing. That's what was so unique about that village, is he brought a little bit of light. He chose to leave.
I like that.
He said, I will do the right thing, and I will go out and teach those in the darkness and bring them joy. And the thing is, he's a little shining source of light. Like, he's not shining like the Princess of Light, but he's radiant in some way. He feels warm. He brings light to others.
I'm imagining the art itself, or like the visuals itself, animated. His color scheme is a little bit brighter than everybody else.
Everyone else is like lost lack of color, but he's
not quite. I'm imagining bright for the queen, for the
vivid, beautiful colors.
And then Hikaru is pretty bright, not quite that bright, but still pretty bright.
He's fading and
he's fading a little bit, and then right below him would be the monk at this point in the story, and then
it's going to be devastating when he gets killed. If he does we do plan on the monk dying.
I think so.
Do you really? I feel like he can't come back, and the reason why is that's what it's so. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So
that yeah.
Do we want the two siblings to die? What if when he left the palace, it was tainted and had become like a black splotch on their side? Like there's just this big tainted hole, like a comet struck it. That's what I mean. And again, visually thinking about how we want the end of this movie to look, what the world is going to look like, the yin and yang circle, I think that would be a good thing to show, like, there is darkness in the land of light, and it's slowly swelling as well as... So, anyway, so my vote is he doesn't Or at least, no, maybe he doesn't die. Or at least he gets healed. Maybe the tainted man shoots him.
Maybe he gets shot.
And he is turning into a wretch, a dark. He's embracing it himself. After he shoots the sister, it affects him in such a way. He shoots his sister. She dies, quote unquote dies, falls to the ground. The monk is like giving up. He's getting dejected. Like after we've seen, I imagine we have to see at least one more scene of like something break. Maybe when the wall comes, it really affects that monk because he brought that village so much happiness. But after that wave came, everyone started ransacking each other, no matter whatever the monk did. And maybe that's why they leave. Hikaru's like, let's get out of here. We got to go. And everyone's just they're burning the village to the ground, even though they saved it. After the tainted man, who now recognizes, like, oh, boop, sends the misery, they start ransacking the village. You know, imagine how defeated that monk would be, that his little nugget of joy that he's brought to this village, and after he even saved it, the tainted man just went, no, you don't get this. No.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the meanest trick ever. So, the monk is already kind of, and this is where we're kind of traveling, they're learning, arguing a bit, but learning about each other. And they get to the palace after a few more fights, whatever. And then they get to the tainted man, and Hikaru, full on, does the whole, I challenge you. And he goes, what? What are you going to challenge? I don't want his sword to be broken yet, because I want it to break from the tainted man. So maybe they defeat it. So maybe he still has his sword, pulls out his sword, and he's still kind of bold. He even shines a little bit more again, you know. And again, he's learned some life lessons. And that's when the tainted man goes, okay, all right, you've come this far. You've come to my home. And we see the sisters just watching from this little, I don't even want her to be on a cage. I want her to just be sitting, lounging, not even lounging, but she's just sitting upright. She's supposed to be lounging, but you know what I mean? Dang it, I said her to cut. Mm-hmm. But I want the tainted man to look at him and go, oh, all right, I will humor you. And he goes like this, and he puts his hand to the side like he's grabbing one of his guns, and everything starts shifting. And when he pulls out, it's just this beautiful sword. He's wearing a clothes similar, and we're getting full-on Dark Link moment. Just looks just like Hikaru, except the eyes are red, however you imagine. I'm just Dark Link moment against this hero of light. Total Dark Link. I hope you would appreciate that.
No, I do. I do appreciate it.
Fight ends, the fight goes, breaks his sword.
I think the fight should end very quickly.
I'm talking like goes in, because he like takes a few swings, and just all of a sudden it's just fling, and just sword is cut, and he's looking at him going, you don't think I know how to use these? And he kicks him across the room, like, you don't. And then and he turns back, and that's when I want, like, you of all people should never have been. Your arrogance and everything. Look how you treated, and he can maybe name a few people he sent out. You sent out a mother. You sent out a grandparent. You have split families. All the pain you've caused because people weren't perfect. And are you perfect? He's like getting on his knees. What are you? You are nothing but a tainted soul. And Hikaru will get angry, and he goes, what are you going to do? Your sword's broken, and you have no light within you, so what will you do, Hikaru? And that's when Hikaru will just pull out this, like, dark blade, just crack, like, it seems wrong. It's crackling, it seems off, and it just feels like, and he's shaking, and he goes, that's better, and he stands up, let's try again, and once again goes back, and Luke beating the crap out of Darth Vader for a second. Just the anger. He's embracing it. Mm-hmm. But I don't want the Shadow Man not Shadow Man. Wow, Dr. Facilier's here now. The Tainted Man. I want him to be laughing. Like he's going with it. He's like, oh, so scary. And he's getting knocked back, and he's just going with it. And he's like, oh, and he's teasing him, and he's getting angrier and angrier. And we hear the monk trying to calm him down. I don't know. Is this taking a weird take? Is it?
No, that's kind of what I was imagining. Maybe
because I don't want him to How can you overpower the personage of anger by being angry? Because this isn't Darth Vader. This is actually This is the epitome. This is
the spirit of darkness.
Yeah, and so I feel like he's going with it, like, oh my goodness, you're doing. Or maybe he's even faking it, like he's like acting all tired and strained, and then starts laughing. He goes, "This is stupid," and flings him off.
Maybe the monk steps in front of Hikaru after he's thrown back, and the shadow blade disperses, and he creates like a staff out of light.
His staff is shining.
Yeah.
His staff already is.
Yeah.
Like he's always been like this shining thing.
Yeah. And I think that would work better. And then they can fight for a minute, but it's
I feel like it would actually bug him though. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
You know what I hate you. The light is harming him. He's pure. The monk is pure. He's been dejected, but he is pure. If there was anybody so far in this story that we've talked about who would deserve it, it'd be this monk. I want this monk to be... It's ironic that this monk, who would have been one of this princess's best warriors and very fair in guiding people, that's the point I want people to make, is he chose to go out in the darkness, and Hikaru probably should have gone to dark. That's the point. That's the parallels I want to make, and that's the question that I want them to kind of throw at each other. Many arguments that throw up is I chose to go out in darkness to fight and to bring light, and you kicked people out into darkness. Who is worse here? Who's the worst one? Were you really happy in there, Hikaru? Were you really happy in the land of light? And Hikaru will always justify his actions. Of course I was. I was the princess's most, bestest. The bestest.
The bestest.
The bestest. I was her bestest guardian ever. I killed so many demons. Not even funny.
BFF. Best
Look at this picture, and it's a picture of them doing kissy faces.
BFF, best freaking fighter.
We both... They both have we have matching friendship anklets. Shut up! She's wearing it. No, I'm kidding. But...
Hey, bestie.
Hey, bestie. I want the Tainted Man to be annoyed with this monk. And he's trying to... But there's nothing he says, nothing he does... Even bullets, he's pure. He's doing a great job. But then the thing that defeats him, he laughs. And again, though, I want these waves to be coming from him. And nothing's bugging him. He's fine. He has hope. He sees the princess. He has hope in the darkness. I want that analogy to be there. We see the monk sweating, and the Tainted Man's not even broken a sweat. He's annoyed, but he's just staring at him. You tired yet? Captain America moment, I can do this all day. And he's looking at the princess. He keeps looking at her to encourage him to keep fighting. Because even though there's all that darkness, he sees the princess as a beacon of hope. And that's when I want the Tainted Man to go, and just turn around. Not even turn around, just shoot. And breaks him right then and there. Breaks him, staff goes dim, just smacks him through. Staff breaks in half. He goes flying. He's wounded. He's gutted. And lands right next to Hikaru. That's the scene I'm imagining in my head. Mm-hmm. Princess is gone. Hikaru is just sitting there kneeling. And Monk is defeated. And... I don't know how he would feel. I feel like he would...
Empty inside.
He just feel empty. He goes, this is... And he looks at his sister. this is not what I wanted, but I guess this is what we'll have to do. And we just see him just, actually, no. He just gets angry. He looks at his sister. He looks at her body. He looks at his hands. And he goes, darn, I was like, he was hoping that, because in his mind, she had all the joy. She had all the light. She had all the love. And in a sense, she kind of did. And now that she's dead, he doesn't get any either. And also, he is visibly choosing to be negative. So at that point, I want like Hades moment with the fire, but it's just darkness. Mm-hmm. Darkness goes out, and it's just engulfing. We see the whole world getting engulfed. We see anyone out there who has had some hope is just kind of just darkness. So now here's the tricky part is, what will we have the brother get killed as well?
Here's an idea. So Hikaru will see his friend defeated. He'll look up and he'll see Her Majesty is defeated. And he'll look down at his own hands.
I want him to still have the shadowy blade. Because so here's really quick. The thing that I wanted to imagine is that the analogy that I've been saying of the light, the small light, the light at the end of the tunnel, the little glimmer, I want him to have an accepting moment, and I want his blade to you just see a little dot on his blade. And then that grows. It doesn't completely become a sword of light because he's not perfect. So this is the moment that you were talking about with your character, about him embracing his faults, him embracing his insecurities, him embracing everything, and him basically taking an oath.
I can see it in my head. He's holding this black blade, and just at the base of the blade, a little white dot.
Yes.
And closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, opens his eyes, and the dot starts to swirl, and it just starts to cover the blade in white and black swirls that mingle with each other, and then when they straighten out, there's two sides to the blade, a light and a dark.
He goes like this, it's dark, this, it's light.
And the dot grows a little bit, and then it's the inverse of whatever side he's on. If he's on the light side of the blade, it's a black dot. If he's on the dark side of the blade, it's a white dot.
Oh, yes.
I like that. I think that would be really
just
cool.
Finding peace, or maybe it just swirls into this. It's either that or gray. Either way, however you're imagining, because I'm imagining it shining this grayish color at this point.
I think white, and then it fades. It fades from white to black, and then from black back to white. But it's most of the time it's going to be gray of some shade or another. Yeah. But there is the white.
There's a white. You can't have it. So final fight. So here's what I propose, is that either he does kill the brother, and he helps the monk get up, and the monk will help convert the palace there into a source of light. It will become a palace of light. And Her Majesty, that's like her final dying wish, is she's barely alive, and she will convert that palace, because hers is gone. She will kind of do what her brother did, and she will convert that palace into light, and it will be the shining point and darkness, and then that one will stay. And I imagine that Hikiro will be the guardian of that one, in a way. And the monk will be charter over this one, and Hikaru will be the charter of the one of darkness. Mm-hmm. But they both will. It'll just work perfectly.
No, what I'm thinking is Hikaru fights the Tainted Man, and with his new blade, and they're fighting and fighting and fighting, and Hikaru's actually wearing him down. And as he's about to strike the death blow, he looks down at the Tainted Man and looks over at the Spirit of Light and looks back at the Tainted Man and says, "If I kill you, nothing will be fixed." And so he kind of kicks the Tainted Man off to the side a little bit. Maybe not kicks him off to the side. Walks around him to the body of the Spirit of Light, sets his sword down, and lifts her up. And as he's lifting her up, you can see one arm is white and one arm is black, and he's leaving the black arm behind as he raises her up, kind of reviving her almost, revitalizing her light. And then he'll look at the Tainted Man and say, "You are right. Nobody's perfect, but not everybody is perfectly evil either. There is balance. There must be balance." And then, the sister will stand and say something to the effect of, "I agree. You may keep my palace. I will keep yours. And all will be able to travel to and fro. Blah, blah, blah." I think they work something out, and she kind of, she heals this section of this world with his palace in it, and it becomes white. And then we can see the map of this world where it's just all dark, and then pinprick of white expands out a little bit, and then shoots out little tendrils of light that spread back out and create the yin and yang with the white and black. I can see it in my head.
I am really
hard time describing
No,
it.
It is. So here's my counter, because a lot of Japanese are very big into reincarnation. What if he does kill him, or at least does a finishing blow? He's knocked away, and he's been shooting, and swords get knocked out, switch to sword, and they have an epic fight. Finishes the blow, and he gets to his sister, and he's like holding her, and there's like this tender moment. He's really, because he's still angry. He goes, "I thought that by losing you, by getting rid of you, I would have all the joy, but I've been wrong. We've been separate for so long that I forgot what it meant to have joy. I forgot what it meant. It was or maybe this is what the monk and I forgot his name. Hikaru are kind of telling him, like, you've forgotten your way." And he's holding the body of his sister, and he's dying. And again, these are old spirits, and so when they die, he goes, and he accepts it, and he kind of breathes. He goes, "I guess we can start over again." And he'll pass on, and their bodies will kind of disperse,
fade into kind of the sparkly white and shadow,
and they'll be confused. And I feel like it'd be still cool. We just see that the palace, though, from her body, it's been spread, and it's beautiful. Like, her light has spread, and the palace has become this beautiful palace of light. And Hikaru looks at the monk and says, "You need to take charge of this place." And as they are talking, they hear a little voice say, "Excuse me." And they turn around, and there's this little girl. Actually, I imagine it's a little boy in white. because they switched palaces. And like, have you seen my sister? And then they go, wait a minute. And I imagine that while, they shows them walking to the halfway, it shows all three of them walking to the palace, and it feels different because this little boy in light is walking just fine through all the darkness. Nothing seems to be affecting him. And when they get to the palace of darkness, it looks beautiful. It doesn't look like an attack. It looks like it fits there. Like this beautiful land of pure white light, and then this black palace. It just looks right.
Like obsidian versus smoke.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Like they're like, oh wow, it's pretty. And then we see this like little girl just crying all alone, and they reunite the two spirits. And it's not like they gender swapped. I imagine that because their palaces are in each other's land, it switched it. Or
no, I do like that. I like that idea.
That
because
they switched.
Because their palaces swapped, they also swapped.
But forgot the best part. One of his eyes is pure black, and one of her eyes is pure white.
I like it. I like that.
So we've like perfected the siblings. The tainted man is now the child of light, but he's still a little bit tainted, and she still has, or maybe their eyes, just their eyes. Either way, I think it'd be cute for them to be reincarnated. They've switched roles in a way, and our two heroes have taken the charge to take care of them, but they're going to keep them mingling and communicating, so now the world will be pure and balanced and better.
I like it.
I just think the scene of the two siblings like hugging would just be the sweetest little thing.
The hug is what curves.
Like it's their faces.
The thing. Yes.
When their faces are hugging, that's the yin and yang symbol.
Yes.
Something like that.
I love it.
And I think that would be the end of this story, the War for Light, I guess. I don't know what the name would be. Light Wars.
I think Free the Light.
Free the Light. We'll think of a name.
Something.
Text me a name and I'll put it for the story. But it's late. It is late, and I'm trying to go to bed decently, but it's too late now. But that was fun.
That was fun.
I think I'm going to try doing that from now on. I would like us to do that. We each come up with like a little summary.
And then we combine them.
Yeah. Yin and yang. Well, I really enjoyed it. But thank you everyone for listening to this one. This one was fun.
It was fun.
I personally really liked it. I hope you liked it, Tim.
I did. It was a good one.
Yeah. I think we'll see everyone later, but I'll turn it to you, Tim, to say say bye.
Yeah, I just want to say again, as always, be kind, love each other. Try to be the light in the world.
Aw.
Try to remember that you can't be perfect as well. And with that, see you later, pitches.
Bye.